Engineer Solomon Bulus Maren is my name, and I represent the very good people of Mango Bokos Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from the home of peace and tourism, Plateau State. The House notes that the Just Electricity Distribution Company had employed smart energy meters which do not conform to the metering code specified at a voltage range of 40% to 110%, which is 144 volts to 264 volts. Also notes that the smart meters are certified with voltage range of 70 volts to 240 volts, as was revealed by the verification test conducted by the Plateau State Ministry of Water Resources and Energy. Aware that those smart meters have been installed at the Federal Locust Housing Estate, Rantia Estate, Mazaram, Top, Rayfield, and Deer Bay areas of Jos. Also aware that the Nigeria Electricity Management Service Agency had, in response to a request by the Plateau State Ministry of Water Resources and Energy, confirmed that the smart meter voltage statute does not conform to the Nigerian metering code or the best practices for that type of voltage profile. Concerned that the most important parameters for energy dispensing and utilization between the utility provider and the consumer have not been adhered to. Cognizant that if no steps are taken to reverse this trend, the Just Electricity Distribution Company will continue to shortchange consumers, since the meters are designed to read very low voltage of 70 volts, and there is no appliance that can be used at that range, whereas there are no appliances hitherto that could utilize current at such low voltage. The House resolved to, 1, urge the Nigeria Electricity Management Services Agency to direct the Just Electricity Distribution Company to adjust the operational voltage on their new smart meters from 70 to 144 volts and from 240 to 264 volts, as is obtainable in the metering code of Nigeria. And 2, mandate the Committee on Power to ensure implementation and report back to the House within 3 weeks for further legislative action. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so move.
Joseph, I represent Badagry Federal Constituency, the gateway to Francophone countries. So I rise to second the motion as moved by my honorable colleagues. I so second. Thank you.
Also get more acquainted with the facts that are being used in the motion. There is need for me to just put a small 1-minute light on the matter. Mr. Speaker, you will recall that prior to the privatization of the electricity industry, the PHCN of Nigeria had already begun installation of smart meters in homes in Nigeria. And most of these meters were Conlock meters and ZTE meters. You will also, you're also aware that the Just Electricity Distribution Company has now come with new meters. They are now, Huawei meters and Mojap smart meters, and they are replacing them with the ZTE and the Conlock meters. And that the Nigerian metering code is between 40% of 240 voltage and 110% maximum voltage, and that is to say that at 146 volts, the meter will read, but anything less than that, the meter will not read. And if it goes above 264, the meter will not also read. And so they have come up today with another new metering code that reads as low as 70 volts. And Mr. Speaker, you are aware that all our appliances are between 110 and 220 volts. And that if you are supplying 70 volts to a house, the meter is reading that yes, there is current coming in, And your fridge probably that is on is also, yes, there is current, but of course the engine cannot start. And so the meter is also running. And this is causing untold hardship on the people of these areas where these smart meters have been installed. You can imagine, Mr. Speaker, a level 2 officer or 3 officer in government who earns 18,000 minimum wage is now forced to pay as much as 20-something thousand naira for 1 month electricity charges. And these people live in 2-bedroom flats. Jos is very cold. People don't use ACs in Jos. You only have maybe 1 television, 2 fridges, and fans. And so what will consume up to 20,000 of electricity? And of a man who is earning 18,000 naira a month, how much is he going to eat? And so, Mr. Speaker, prior to this moment, they were paying rent of about 5,000 naira per month on electricity credit. And this was going well until the change of these meters. And so, Mr. Speaker, the Plateau State Ministry of Water Resources and Energy have done the due diligence of checking the reliability of these meters, and they have complained and brought several complaints. And today, Mr. Speaker, even Nige at the last stakeholders meeting confirmed that it was illegal for even NEMSA to certify meter at 70 volts because they do not have such responsibility in their act. And so, Mr. Speaker, I urge my colleagues to support this motion. It's touching the lives of our people, and so it should be supported. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Then automatically serves as an estoppel, the part of the House for us not to consider. But the only thing is that if in the opinion of the Speaker, the outcome of the decision can prejudice the interest of one of the parties, then we cannot proceed. So in situations like this, when we're addressing the chair, focus should be placed on who of the 2 parties or contending parties before the court will likely be prejudiced by the outcome of what we're doing here, so that we can be properly guarded. But I think we may not come to a consensus at this juncture in view of the fact that the floor is sharply divided on this issue. So what I will advise is maybe we refer this determination to one of our committees, either the Committee on Justice. I think the Committee on Justice is the appropriate committee to make a determination in view of the issues that have been raised, canvassed, and thankfully the chairman is on the floor to make a determination as to whether we can proceed. Because as they say, whatever is worth doing is worth doing well. So let's convince ourselves that what we're doing it well. Now we can proceed on this matter.